Gorgeous? Does that funk have you feeling stuck? Have you questioning your purpose, or even yet having you asking if your best years are behind you? Girl, you have zero obligation to stay in that funk. This podcast is for women who want to get the funk out of here, who want to play bigger, ask for more, and step out of mediocrity. Imagine a life filled with lots of energy, excitement, and filled with spunk instead of that funk. This is the Unfunk Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Crystal. Let's go! Hey friends, I am coming at you with March's episode. But first, let me follow up on February's action item. It's time for some accountability. Were you able to become the youngest in the room? How did it go? Send me a DM and share your experience. Whether you felt a significant shift or not, it's all good. Maybe it's not your season to sit amongst the older. But listen, don't just drop the practice or give it up or not even try. Circle back to it when you can. If you did find value, keep saying yes when those opportunities arise to sit amongst the older and continue to fill your bag with their golden nuggets. It's an investment that will enrich your life profoundly. Now it's time to roll right into March. March always gets me revved up because for us in the States, it's a signal of winter's departure and spring's arrival. Spring signifies growth, vibrant flowers, booming gardens, and just a kaleidoscope of colors emerging everywhere. It's when animals and insects start showing up to do their thing, like the bees awaken and diligently begin their pollination work. Actually, think of the impact of the bees. They get to work pollinating one plant, one crop at a time. And from the work of the bee, those crops land right in our grocery stores. Their bee tasks ultimately sustain entire communities. From just doing its job, its work is spread out into the community and gives life. Amazing, right? They give the bees had a social media account. Picture the bee doing like a TikTok dance over a flower that it just made bloom. Another bee could post a reel on Instagram of itself sitting on the product in the grocery store, flexing, as if to show that it was responsible for our food supply. Or take the roadrunner bird. Yes, it's a real type of bird, and it is a badass. He could post a Facebook story about how he killed the rattlesnake right before it was about to attack a dog being walked by their owner. Or the tree could post about how it gave apples to the humans, or how it provided shade while the construction workers enjoyed their lunch. Think about all the flexing nature could do on its social media. Nature's social media presence would undoubtedly outshine most of ours. Nature effortlessly cares for us without even exerting effort. It simply operates according to its inherent design. You too have the power to be as significant as the bee or as nature in general in your own communities, just by operating according to your inherent design. And some of your efforts may seem minor, but these seemingly minor gestures accumulate, eventually becoming significant gifts to humanity. Don't underestimate your contribution to your community. I know it's hard to push that little funker away. You know, that nagging presence that makes you doubt the significance of your contributions, whether it's at home, at work, or in the world. If you're tuning into this podcast, chances are you're ambitious, yearning to leave a lasting impact on the world, something more than just fleeting. You aspire to emulate the bee, where your work matters, or, to put it another way, where your contribution matters. But sometimes, instead of doing your thing with the flowers like the bee, you just zip past them, questioning the value of your singular efforts in the vast scheme of things, and not stopping at the flower to make your contribution because you believe it's meaningless or will not matter. It will leave you all funked up. But in the future, when you look back on your journey, when you do make those little impacts, you will have made a difference towards becoming that woman you aspire to be. One effective strategy to shake off that funk or unfunk yourself is to become the bee of your own community. If your aim is to combat, let's say, like something like global issues like hunger, starting at the grassroots level is key. Think about it. I often encounter women feeling funked up because they're striving to get their message out and want to broaden their reach through social media, podcasting, Slack, or email text blasts? While these are fantastic tools for making an impact, so is investing in your local community. Take a moment to pull over and sow some seeds of contribution right where you are, leaving behind traces of goodwill, much like pollen. Understand what I'm getting at? I saw some volunteers a couple weeks ago picking up trash alongside a busy road. Too bad I didn't get a before and after picture. It looked so much better than it had the day before. And I'm grateful to those volunteers. I'm grateful they chose to show up and make a difference, even if their impact won't be headline news. Their contribution mattered. It mattered to those that play back there. It mattered to our city workers who would have had to eventually pick it up, or it surely brightened my attitude. Their work created a ripple effect, and those ripples may extend further than we even realize. Perhaps the plastic they cleared away prevented a bee from getting entangled, allowing it to continue its vital role in the ecosystem. Or perhaps it kept a city worker from having to work longer to pick up the trash and missing out on time spent with family. It certainly keeps all the trash from piling up. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't impact the world or your community in some grand way, or that it doesn't somehow affect the future of others. Make small impacts in your community from a place of love. Not love like you loved the last book you read, but by a profound and enduring love of your community and wanting to make a true difference. I know you're eager to make a difference in the world. Find your purpose, know your strengths. I can't say it enough. Start within your own community. Consider Mark Zuckerberg's journey. Facebook began as a platform for communication within his college community, and we all know how it has evolved into a global phenomenon. Underestimating the power of initiating change at the local level is a common mistake. Whether it's dedicating an hour each month at the food bank, contributing $10 to a teacher's fund for students in need, donating clothes to veteran families, or simply mowing your elderly neighbor's lawn every 2 weeks, every act counts. Don't wait for the perfect moment, ample resources, or grand opportunities to materialize. Begin by making micro impacts within your community. The momentum will carry you towards the life you are designing and the woman you're aspiring to be. I vividly recall tuning into Oprah's show during my younger years, captivated by those episodes where she showered her audience with extravagant gifts. Who could forget that iconic moment when she famously gifted each audience member a brand new car? If I recall correctly, she would make sure her audience was filled with a certain group of people from her community, like school teachers, and then she would announce that everyone in the audience was getting that gift. The sheer range of emotions displayed by those fortunate recipients, disbelief, elation, gratitude, was palpable, even through the screen. I remember feeling genuinely thrilled for them, awestruck by Oprah's boundless generosity. I remember having goosebumps witnessing those heartfelt moments unfold. And in that instant, a seed was planted within me, a desire to be able to do the same someday. Not necessarily to host a talk show or interview guests, but rather to be someone who brings joy to others by giving back in significant ways. Yet even Oprah wasn't everyone's Santa Claus from the start. She began her journey by impacting her immediate community, her audience. Her acts of giving started modestly, often surprising individuals with small contributions or gestures like a single check for $10,000. It was only in the later years of her show that she escalated her giving to grander scales, which included gifts to her entire audience. Even her book club, which initially started small, blossomed into over 55 million copies of book sales, revitalizing the concept of book clubs altogether. What I gleaned from Oprah's journey is this. While I can aspire to one day embody the spirit of giving for those in need, I don't have to wait until then to make a difference. As I strive towards that lofty dream, I can take tangible steps toward it by starting within my own community. So can you. You can pluck an angel from the Christmas tree, sponsor a family's birthdays each year,
or donate warm coats and socks to the homeless shelter. It's the cumulative effect of those micro impacts along the journey that brings you closer to realizing that bigger dream. And hey, I believe it's natural to dream of making a huge contribution to your favorite cause. However, merely dreaming about grand scale impact might be robbing you of the opportunity to make smaller yet meaningful contributions within your own community. This strategy will create momentum towards your ultimate goal, the woman you are becoming and the life you are designing. As you strive to change or save the world, share your message with others, or be an agent of change. You might find yourself competing with countless other influencers. But here's a different approach that so many are neglecting. Start small, in your own community, your town or city, your workspace, your church, or your circle of friends. Focus on making an impact that's within arm's reach. While everyone else is trying to figure out how to make the worldly change through targeted Facebook ads, getting their content to go viral, or trying to figure out how to get ranked higher on Google, you can be countercultural and start right in your community. Not only will you have accumulated more measurable and meaningful action, but you will have achieved visible results. And even better, your results are in your community. You are helping others and creating an impact. This approach also helps combat another pesky funker, the one that arises from spreading yourself too thin by trying to give to every cause under the sun without deriving any real joy or sense of purpose. By narrowing your focus to 1 to 2 specific initiatives in your community, you can stay on funk. Currently, I'm directing my efforts towards addressing hunger. We all know how expensive our grocery bills are at the moment, and the thought that there are hardworking people out there hungry and in need of meals breaks my heart. While I may not be able to feed everyone, I can ensure that at least one meal lands on someone's table every month. Those small impacts add up over time. Moreover, focusing on a specific cause communicates to others where your priorities lie. For instance, rather than contributing to every cause that comes my way, I've chosen to concentrate my efforts towards helping feed my community. This doesn't mean I disregard other causes. It simply means I've chosen to direct my resources where there is a definite need and I know where it will have the most immediate impact. And here's the beauty of it. By each of us picking something to champion within our communities, we inadvertently contribute to supporting a myriad of other causes indirectly. And I don't berate myself for politely declining other causes. Whether I donate $1 or 1 hour of my time, it's all valuable contribution to my community. Imagine if everyone adopted this type of mindset, we could move mountains, astound other nations, and truly become a more powerful force for good. So take care of that one thing in your community. And never doubt whether your contributions are enough. Start with small deposits like the bee. And over time, you may find yourself reaping the significant impact you originally sought. I once met a couple who regularly sent shoes to families in impoverished villages. When I asked if they waited until they had enough for everyone before sending the shoes, they replied with a resounding no. They sent packages 3 to 4 times a year containing whatever they had collected. Their approach? Help someone now with the ultimate goal of helping all. If they waited until they could help everyone, hundreds of people wouldn't have received the shoes they've already sent. They started this organization right in their own community first. Do you see what I'm getting at? Start now with small contributions and watch as they compound into meaningful impact over time. Begin with what you have and initiate a positive impact right within your own community. You might even want to extend beyond your immediate suburban neighborhood and venture into your nearest city. There's bound to be a cause that could benefit from your talents, resources, or time. This is something I feel strongly about, especially when people express that they don't have enough time or resources to spare. I understand the sentiment, but what I often see is people feeling overwhelmed and lacking a sense of purpose. They're busy, yes, but at the end of the day, they're left questioning what they truly accomplished and what real impact they've made. By making community deposits, there's no question about the contribution you've made. I'm not revealing anything groundbreaking here. It's more of a gentle reminder to turn back to the basics. So in March, let's refocus and reconnect with our communities. Whether it's a grand gesture or small acts, remember that change begins at home, in your community. And here's another little piece of perspective for you. Maya Angelou, the famous author and poet, wouldn't have published the work she did if it wasn't for her teacher, Miss Flowers. Miss Flowers encouraged her to read, and after seeing Maya's love for poetry, encouraged her to read out loud. This way, she helped Maya explore her love for poetry. She offered praise and support and encouragement. I'm certain that teacher at the time was simply fulfilling her role within her community as an educator, unaware of the profound impact she would have on billions of people across generations because she encouraged Maya. We owe a debt of gratitude to individuals like Miss Flowers who make small impacts that ripple outward, shaping the world for the better. So you aspire to make change in the world. Don't only opt for the broad, well-traveled path of posting on social media. Instead, take the seemingly small, narrow road leading to impact within your own community. My wager is that this narrow path will eventually open up to a wide expanse of joy and opportunity and purpose. Action beyond mere posting is the true key to life's game. It's through active contribution that you'll find fulfillment. And don't fret over what others like Crystal may or may not be doing next door. When she sees you thriving, brimming with energy and purpose, she'll undoubtedly become curious and inquire about your transformation. Perhaps even jokingly asking if you're on a diet or what you've done different to your hair. Seize the moment to share how you've been making micro impacts in the community. And depending on her response, you might even have the opportunity to invite her to join your journey. Imagine if 100,000 individuals in your community donated just $1 per week to the local food bank, or 15,000 people dedicated just 1 hour to stocking its shelves. Picture another 10,000 people donating clothes and an additional 5,000 stepping up to support schools in need of supplies for underprivileged children. The list goes on. Together, we could be the catalyst for transformative change in our nation without waiting on the next president or government intervention, just by starting in our community. We don't need to rely solely on our government to make impact in our communities. We could just do it now. Ladies, it's March. Time to put our words into action. Implement the monthly action and make your mark in your community. That's how you'll stay unfunked and affect real change, not only in your life, but in the lives of those around you. And don't overcomplicate this task. It's simple, yet impactful. It's where you'll discover the beautiful intersection of giving and receiving. So ladies, let's dive into our communities and start making those micro impacts. Let's go!
My mom is not a doctor, not a psychologist, but this podcast is for motivational purposes only.
Before you go, Superwoman, I'd love it if you took a little action for me. Like subscribe to my podcast and leave a review. Also, share the episode with a friend. And as a thank you, hit up my website, unfunkyourmind.com. That's right, unfunkyourmind.com to grab free journal prompts. Okay, ladies, now is the time to go unfunk your mind. Play bigger and ask for more. Open the door to possibility and cancel playing small. So get up and go.